What's up, everyone? Morning. Today is Davos 2026, even though 26 ain't until April. But it doesn't start until this evening. So, I am going to be covering, well, I say I'm going to be covering it. I'm not going to be covering it. I'm going to personally be covering it this week. But it's probably not going to go up on the channel like you've been used to for the past, 10 years because I retire, innit? So, I'm going to be taking it for personal reference, and then maybe when they start to play out some stuff, then I'll put some stuff out. But I'm not going to be covering it extensively like I usually do, okay? Because there's no point, innit? No point. And I'm a bit disappointed because, obviously Klausy gone now. So, I don't know what type of spin they're going to have there this year, Klaus used to make it for me, that was my special bit, I used to focus on who he was interviewing because they were the more important ones, so like this year, we have new players, but Dusek, he's still there, so I'm gonna be watching what he's up to, okay? Dusek, he the one that went through everything with you last year with the turbulence and everything that we're gonna have, okay? He was underneath Klaus, so Dusek is still there, so that's somebody you need to look out for. But like I say, LSNT won't be covering it this year extensively, how we usually do. But if you want to see any previous ones, just check out the channel, okay? Because truth don't change, and everything that they do, they put in Davos, okay? This is the foundation, so then your governments can implement to you. Right, one love, everyone. Davos 2026.
Why you should pay close attention to Davos and the World Economic Forum's annual meeting. Every year, the World Economic Forum hosts its annual meeting in Davos, where some of the most powerful and wealthy individuals on the planet gather. These are not just corporate elites, but also the people who shape policies, influence global governance, and in many ways dictate what governments around the world will implement. Many people only catch snippets of this event, 5-minute viral clips circulating on social media, without watching the full sessions. But these brief moments barely scratch the surface of what's actually being discussed. In doing so, people miss the deeper context, the strategic language, and the real implications behind their words. By the time your government is announcing new policies, understand that you're already receiving secondhand information. The real decisions are being made behind closed doors at Davos. If you want to grasp what's truly happening, you must go directly to the source, watch and analyze the full discussions, not just the highlights. These individuals often communicate in coded language, what some might call doublespeak, using vague terminology that sounds harmless but carries deeper implications. Concepts like digitalization may seem straightforward, but listen carefully, and you'll also hear them pushing for greater control by shareholders and investors. This isn't just about technological advancement. It's about consolidating power. It all starts to sound like the formation of yet another global boardroom, a step toward a one-world governance structure. If you truly want to understand where the world is heading, study not just what they say, but also what they carefully leave unsaid. Because in their world, what is unspoken is just as important as what is spoken. Excitata Lux, Fiat Lux, learn something new today.
Truth come back, them kingdom done. Awaken light, I say, crown of scales, tongue of fire.
The current risk landscape, the highest ranked risk there is state-based armed conflict, where we can assume this is also then connected to the fact that we do live in a very complex geopolitical environment. We have a record number of conflicts, unfortunately, around the world, of course, including humanitarian emergencies and the suffering that comes with it. There are, of course, aspects of the continued war in Ukraine that is unfortunately still ongoing, that is, we assume, part of the picture, as well as the very complex situation with the different conflicts in the Middle East. But I also mentioned the humanitarian emergencies that are connected to some of these conflicts. So obviously the situation in Gaza, the humanitarian situation in Gaza, the humanitarian situation in Sudan and Somalia. All those we would assume are part of the picture behind the data. Link it back to the annual meeting in Davos. This is for us a key priority, to provide a platform for dialogue across different relevant stakeholders to find pathways or at least find ways to de-escalate.
The stars align, the numbers guide, the path unfolds like our eyes. The compass a square, a path so bright, you marked in gold, bathed in light, the sacred signs the stars reveal, the hidden wisdom, pure and real. Where 7 keys unlock the door, in 12 gates lead to something more. Ever a master's hand, a guiding flame. Though the soul ascends, it speaks my name. And in the cipher of light we rise, the sacred symbols in the skies. The stars align, the numbers guide, the path unfolds like our eyes. The compass a square, a path so bright, you marked in gold, bathed in light, the sacred signs the stars reveal, the hidden wisdom, pure and real. Where 7 keys unlock the door, in 12 gates lead to something more. Ever a master's hand, a guiding flame. Though the soul ascends, it speaks my name. And in the cipher of light we rise, the sacred symbol.